Hi, I'm Rachel Asaza, and today I'll be showing you how to make a multicolored background with watercolors just to get you started on a painting that might potentially be layered like this one. So to get started on this project, you're going to want 1 page of watercolor paper. You could also get mixed media paper if you want, but both of those kinds of papers are good for absorbing the water so it doesn't get too damp. You're going to want a palette. You could get just like primary colors, or you could get a multi-palette like this so you don't have to mix colors. And then you can use big brushes so you can make like lots of different colors and like big strokes, and then in the drawing process you can go back in with smaller paintbrushes to get detailing. So right now I'm just gonna get my paintbrush wet, and I'm gonna start with just any color. I'm gonna go with green because I like green. And we're gonna get a lot. You're really gonna like brush it in to the paint so you can get, it depends on how opaque you want it, so I want like a lot of green. So I'm gonna put a little bit more water, and then I'm just gonna start going at it. Do a lot of brush strokes. You can get more. Cool. I like it. Looks like a green hill. Do maybe some landscaping. Alright, and then you can, if you want to change colors, you just want to get your brush wet. Try and get all the green off of it. And then you can move to a different color or a different shade. I think I'm going to go with purple. Get the brush really wet, and then maybe add some like texture, just like wiggling the brush around. Also, since this is vertical, the paint is going to drip down, which might give it a cool effect if you want to work on like an easel opposed to on a table. Cool. And then maybe I'll switch it up, get a different kind of brush. Maybe just like this angular brush. Get some yellow in there. This is like a... So essentially what you're going to do for this is you're just going to try and fill up the whole page with different colors or the same color. You can layer on them. I'm just letting this green dry for right now before I go back into it. So I'm just going to start painting like around, kind of get some more color going. It's looking very nice, very happy. So the green's a little bit dried, so I'm gonna add a little bit more green just to make it darker. So I'm gonna get that same green color I had, and I'm just gonna like lightly layer. You don't wanna get too much water in this, like pulled up in the same place, so you wanna get a lot of color and just kinda like spread it around where you want. Make sure the water doesn't pull up anywhere. Cool. Some like grassy texture going. And we're just gonna let that dry for a little bit, and then I'll come back to it to add another layer so I can get more color going. All right, so now that the painting has dried a little bit, I'm gonna go in and add a second layer of paint just to, you know, give it some more vibrancy and just add some more colors that I wanna have for the whole project. So when you're doing this is kind of just like an abstract thing that we're doing. You can really pick any color you want. You can do any kind of brush strokes you want. I'm kind of just like guiding you through like the technique of watercolor, just so your like the paper doesn't get too wet, and just so you have someone to paint with while you're doing this. All right, I'm gonna add some blue. I'm gonna get a lot of blue. I want this color to be really, really saturated. All right, and then I'm gonna go in. And I'm gonna fill in these gaps between the yellow and the purple just to kind of add some depth. And compared to last time, I just added a lot, like I just dug the brush into the color a lot more to get it really stuck on the brush compared to these like lighter colors. I'll get a little bit more. And a little bit of patterns. And using a variation of brushes can be really fun to to get different textures, and like I can use this as like a flat like head or as like sharp edges, so that can be fun to mess around with. Cool. I like this. Blue is a good idea. Alright, and then I might just add one more color in there. I might try and do just a little bit of detailing, just to give it a little bit more like inspiration for what I'm gonna add when I like, start drawing on it. Alright, I'm gonna go in and get some, this is kind of like a purpley red. It's a very good like floral color, and I'm just gonna use like the tip of the brush to add some dots. So just dots onto the green, so kind of gets like a little floral garden look to it. You can also get different colors. Maybe add some orange. Also, a fun thing that you can do with watercolors on the brush is that you can put your finger out and tap the brush like a little like rough on the finger, and it'll add like a splatter effect. And that, I kind of like doing that in some of my paintings. Get a little more water. Splat. Can add some cool texture. Cool. Sweet, I think I'm satisfied with that. I might go in and add some more purple, maybe with like a marker or something, and just like add some flowers and stuff to like define it. But this is essentially a fun background that you can make to get started when you're just dabbling in watercolors, or you just want to do something fun and creative. Alright, so I'm gonna add one more layer of detail with a smaller brush, so I can just get like some small little like fun lines going on in here. So based on what I'm doing right now, it kind of like was nothing in the beginning, and then it sort of started like forming into more of like a garden scene I was mentioning, and now I'm kind of just like getting inspiration from the shapes that it's making. So that's kind of like the direction that we're going in right now. I kind of have a theme, and I'm sort of just gonna ride with it until the end of this painting. So I'm gonna grab some red. I think I'm just gonna add some like fun like lines here, just to give it some more patterns and just like more to look at. I love just doing very easy lines that are just like fun to work with, like with a brush. Like the way that the brush flows is it's just fun and nice. So I'm just gonna over here do a little spiral. And then I'm gonna get some orange. I'm gonna mix them a little bit. You can always use these little divots in the top to mix paints, but I have obviously used all of them, so now I just kind of mix within. You can always add more water inside of the color to get the pigment to come out, and then you can just kind of like soak your brush in it, get some more color. Kind of make these purple colors into like clouds. I personally always end up doing some sort of landscape design with this, but feel free to go abstract and just like put in a bunch of shapes and colors and really have fun with it. The thing about watercolors is just you always have to kind of wait for it to dry, so it can be, you kind of just have to like wait for it, and then you can just go in on it again and then wait for it to dry. It takes a little bit of patience. So, but it's a very easy, mess-free kind of painting. It's really nice. It's really nice, and the water helps it flow so much. Sweet. So now I've added some little detailed lines just to add some more texture and some more patterns, and now I'm just going to go in at the very end and show you how I would get started with pen work. So this is just a regular like calligraphy pen that you can kind of find anywhere. Has some pink ink in it, and I'm going to start and do like some little flowers within this, just so y'all can see where like I'm gaining inspiration from my lines and my dots, like kind of what I see. But doing stuff like this is really fun because people will always see something different and you kind of never know where you start or end, so it's kind of just like endless painting. Grab a different color. There's some orange. The paint is still a little wet, but I'm just gonna go in. Cool. Sweet. So that's just a good place. It's a good stopping point, and this is just kind of where I'm going. This is kind of gonna be like more of like a ocean, shoreline on a hill with sort of a landscape. So that's kind of like the inspiration that I derive from that at the end. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see what you come up with when you try it.